I'm talking on behalf of the Cleveland Street Action Group, and this is video 2, where we're looking at the routes that the government's proposing we take to avoid the no right turn into Crown Street from Cleveland and the no right turn into Burke Street from Cleveland. They're all profiled, all the routes are profiled in this document, Cleveland Street Turn Restrictions, done by a company called Aurecon on behalf of Transport for New South Wales. And in here, we've got all of the detours modelled by this consultancy that we're going to have to take because of these no right turn restrictions. Now, we're going to actually do these routes for real in a car, time them, point out all the dangerous intersections we have to go through, cross bike paths, cross pedestrians crossings, even past schools. So bear with us. We're going to do all 12 detours and time them. Now, before we head off, we're going to make two things really clear. Firstly, obviously they're not rat runs yet, so these times are going to be wildly underestimated from what's going to be the reality once these no right turns are put in place. And secondly, this Toga Surrey Hills Villages development up on Baptist and Cleveland, which I think is due to open next year, has not even been factored into this modelling, which seems absolutely mind-bogglingly stupid to me. If you look at this document, this is the Surrey Hills Shopping Village Planning Proposal, Traffic and Transport Assessment, done in 2015 as part of a DA for the Surrey Hills Villages. I'll put a link in for this as well. This makes it clear 8 to 11,000 cars are going to be dumped onto Baptist Street from the Surrey Hills Villages between 7 in the morning and 10 at night every day. That's not in here. That hasn't even been considered. But imagine that amount of cars filtering through all of the back lanes on the southern side of Cleveland Street, what sort of chaos that's going to create, in addition to the no right turn initiative. Anyway, enough talking. Let's go and have a look at our first scenario, which is going to be starting on South Dowling Street, corner of Burke and South Dowling, going up Cleveland and turning right into Crown, like you can do now, and see how quickly we can do it. Okay, so all of our Crown Street tests will start here on the corner of Burke and South Dowling Streets. And our destination is a restaurant called Via Napoli, a popular Italian restaurant, which is just on the north side of Crown Street off Cleveland. This first test is what we can do today, so we can turn right into Crown Street, no problems. Let's see how we go. Okay, so we're going westbound down Cleveland, across Burke, right into Crown, and we arrive at the restaurant. That's 52 seconds, the way we can do it today. So this is our first test, assuming that the no right turn has been put in place at Crown Street, so we're no longer able to turn right into Crown from Cleveland Street. So this is the route they're suggesting, 4A, which takes us north all the way up to Fitzroy Street along South Dowling. Let's have a look. Going northbound up South Dowling, stopping at the light rail, further up South Dowling right along Moore Park, then stop at these lights at Fitzroy Street, which are often really slow, into Fitzroy. This always gets jammed at Burke Street, left here at Crown, pedestrians everywhere, pedestrians over pedestrian crossings, down Crown Street, again light rail, cross the light rail, and eventually at Napoli 516. So you can see that Route 4A is about 6 times longer than the current route where we're allowed to turn right into Crown Street. And we're also doing all of these tests between about 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so there's not much traffic around. So this is really best case scenario. We're up to Route 4B. This one takes us southbound this time, so we turn left at Burke Street and explore Waterloo. Let's check it out. Down Cleveland, westbound again. This time we're going to turn left at Burke Street. So here we go. There's lots of pedestrian crossings along here, pedestrians everywhere, bikes everywhere. We're heading down to Phillip Street in Waterloo. These lights can be pretty bad. Up Phillip Street, right into Baptist. More pedestrian crossings. And then these lights, Baptist and Cleveland, which you can often wait here for 3 sets before you get across, but we actually do quite well today. Here we go, green light, and at the restaurant. That's 6:24. So that one is 7 times longer than our current route. But think about this. Let's drive along Baptist Street here at real time. And on the left here is where the driveway for the Surrey Hills Villages is going to be. So imagine between 7 in the morning and 10 at night, 8 to 11,000 cars are going to spill onto Baptist Street. Do you reckon you're going to be able to get across Cleveland? No way. This route's a bit of a joke. Route 4D. Now check this one out. They want us to go west down Cleveland Street, then turn left into this tiny little street called Young Street, and then either do a U or a 3-point turn in this tiny little street, then come back up Cleveland eastbound and then into Crown. Madness. Let's check it out. West down Cleveland. We stopped here at the lights at Burke Street. Across Burke. Across Crown. And this is the little Young Street, which is tiny. Here's our UE. Then up Young Street. And we'll wait here for a long time. These lights are not kind. So we're turning right into Cleveland. Left into Crown. And at our restaurant, 5 minutes and 2 seconds. So, if you're a thrill seeker and love doing handbrake turns, this is the route for you, and it's also our quickest so far. It's only 5 times faster than our current route. You'll notice we didn't do Route 4C, which is one which just takes us down Crescent Street and up south through Baptist. We didn't think it was worth it because it's basically what you do right now anyway. But that'll be stuffed as well because of the Surrey Hills Villages development, because it takes you up Baptist. Anyway, let's move on. The last detour they're recommending once they prevent us turning right into Crown Street from Cleveland. So this is Route 4E. It's definitely the shortest distance by a long way, but it also takes us down Baronia Lane, which involves crossing the Burke Street bike path, which is extremely dangerous, and there's no doubt this will cause heaps of accidents. And then eventually onto Baptist Street. But let's check it out. Down Cleveland again, left into Burke Street. Here, now Baronia Lane is on the right. No bikes or pedestrians on that bike lane. Right into Baptist. This very painful intersection, which really gets choked up. Waiting. And across Cleveland and at our restaurant, 4:28. So there we have it. We have a winner. Only 5 times slower than the current route. The only downside, well, there's 2 downsides. One is you're likely to get a bike rider flying over your bonnet as you cross Burke Street bike path, which is the busiest bike path in Sydney. And you have to go past the Surrey Hills Villages development. So this route is a non-starter when the Surrey Hills development starts. Baronia Lane is going to become a joke. So there we have it. That's Crown Street done. Let's move on to Burke Street. We'll first look at what would happen if we were getting from the corner of Elizabeth and Cleveland and we're heading east to a cafe called St Jude's on the corner of Burke and Thurlow. So this first scenario will be what we can do today. We're allowed to turn right into Burke Street from Cleveland heading east. So let's see how quickly we can do this. So we're eastbound on Cleveland Street here. Coming up to Crown Street, cross Crown, turning right into Burke, and there's St Jude's on the right there. 1:51 we could do it today. So the first route they're suggesting is 5A, but they've actually suggested 2 5As. We'll show you both of them. The first one here takes us up Devonshire Street. Now, I'm sure most people don't even know you can do this, and I don't think you should. At peak hour, going past the light rail stop would be seriously dangerous, and also people are just jaywalking across Devonshire Street all day. Anyway, let's have a look at it. So we're heading east up Devonshire Street. There's a light rail stop. We got really lucky because we managed to cross Crown and Burke with really good light changes here. Then Burke, crossing Cleveland at Burke Street here, and we end up at St Jude's in 3:33. So there we go, not even twice as slow as our current route. That's a great shortcut. We did get extremely lucky at Crown Street and Burke Street. I don't think that's repeatable, that route. That was very lucky. And also, I think if cars start going up Devonshire Street past that light rail stop, I'm sure that the government will shut this down in a heartbeat if people start using it. But there it is. The second 5A they're recommending is if you're trying to get onto Burke Street south of Cleveland from the north. Now, this one is really nuts. They're suggesting you go down Crown, then turn left into this tiny little place called Rainford Street, a tiny little street called Rainford Street, that has no pathways, no pedestrian access. So I've seen prams, bikes, all sorts of things going down the middle of Rainford Street because you just can't use the footpaths. Plus, when you get down the bottom of Rainford Street onto Burke, you have to cross a bike lane, and there are blind corners both left and right once you get down the bottom of Rainford. And from the left, the bikes have just come screaming down Burke Street Hill. So they fly past Rainford. It's extremely dangerous. Anyway, let's time this route. We're southbound on Crown here. This is Rainford Street. Really narrow, really dangerous. There's the bottom I'm talking about where you have to cross the bike path. This is the light rail lights. Having to wait for someone turning right. Then still on Burke, we have to cross Cleveland here. Cross Cleveland and to St Jude's just here, and that's 4:50. So that's about 2.5 times as long as the current route, and you've got a good chance of collecting a bike on the way. Next one. All right, we're up to 5B. This one takes us from the same spot we started the initial test, from the corner of Elizabeth and Devonshire. We're going all the way south to Phillip Street in Waterloo, then along Phillip Street, and left into Burke to St Jude's. Let's have a look. Okay, southbound on Elizabeth Street, crossing Redfern Street there. Lucky to get through that intersection, that's a bit of a busy one. And then left at Phillip, a roundabout. This is a bus route, by the way. Cross here, another roundabout, pedestrian crossing, then left into Burke. This is the Dank Street Shopping Centre, very busy here, this intersection. And then through to Burke Street, very narrow here, pedestrian crossings again, and eventually St Jude's, 5:25. So that one's about 3 times slower than our current route, and it's a very long way around. Okay, next. This is 5C, and we're being asked to squirrel through the back streets of Redfern here. Now, there's 2 things here. One, it involves crossing the bike lane at Burke Street, which we've spoken about. But it's also 2 designated roads that are supposed to be shared with bikes, and that's Boronia Street and Thurlow Streets. And in peak hour, lots and lots of bikes use those streets. So there's, again, no doubt going to be accidents as a result of this route. Anyway, let's have a look. Okay, we're going down Cooper Street here, squirreling around the Housing Commission homes, down to Young, Thurlow, left onto Baptist, right onto Boronia. This is the bike path crossing I'm talking about. Difficult getting onto Burke Street here because you can't see, you're blinded by the parked cars. Anyway, we end up at St Jude's in 3:41. So that one's about twice as long and very dangerous. Okay, next. 5E. Now, this is the start of the routes that take us past Burke Street Public School in Surrey Hills. Now, I did this one on a Saturday afternoon, about the same time as all the others, but I didn't want to do it on a school day because I didn't want to bias this study. So this is probably the quickest way you can do this route. So let's have a look. So east on Cleveland, coming up to Crown Street here, cross Crown, stuck at the lights at Burke, there's a bus there. crossing Burke, down this, squirreling through these lanes, getting up to South Dowling so we avoid the lights. Down Mort Street. Now the school's on the right here, but there's obviously no one here, it's Saturday. Back onto Burke, and on Burke waiting to cross Cleveland. And here we get to for the pedestrian crossing to St Jude's, 7:02. So there you go, not a good performer on our table, almost 4 times slower than our current route, but people will use it. Imagine you're going east down Cleveland, you don't know you're not allowed to turn right into Burke anymore. You're going to go either left down that little lane we went down, or you're going to go to South Dowling and turn left. Either way, you're going to go down Mort Street next to the school. So this route is definitely going to be used, especially in the early days. Okay, next one. Now this is 5E again, but I wanted to show you this at pickup time at 3 o'clock on a weekday when Burke Street Public School, the 450 kids are pouring out of that school. Because both routes 5E and 5F, the government's suggesting, take us down Mort Street, which is right alongside Burke Street Public School. So check this out and check the chaos around Burke Street Public at pickup time, and I guarantee it's the same at drop-off. Okay, east on Cleveland. Crown Street. Held up at Burke Street here. Not sure why. There we go. Cross Burke. Waiting to squirrel down our little lanes. Oh, car there. Oh, another car. Up to South Dowling. And down Mort Street. Check this out. So the kids have just got out. Everyone's parents are trying to park, pick up their kids. There are kids and parents everywhere. It's madness. And then the traffic jam on Burke Street is something else. It sort of lasts for about half an hour in the afternoons, and there's lots of tension. So we're waiting here probably for 3 sets to get across Cleveland Street, I'd say. And everyone's stressed. Here we go, across Cleveland and off to St Jude's. 12:46 at pickup time on a weekday for 5E. So that was pretty painful, almost 7 times as slow. But people will have to do it, because if they're stuck on Cleveland Street heading east and they don't know about the no right turn at Burke Street, what option do they have? They're going to turn left at South Dowling and then go down the first street they've turned to, which is Mort Street. So it's going to happen, and people are going to get trapped in there, and the traffic jam's going to become much, much worse. This is 5F, which is almost identical to 5E. It just means a couple more lanes we squirrel down to get to Mort Street, which is the one that runs past the school. I did this on a Saturday, so we're not going to see any school kids. But let's check out the time and see if we save any time doing this these back lanes. South on Cleveland for the last time. Crown Street, straight across there. Straight across Burke. Waiting to get into our little squirrel lanes. Here we go. Now we're going straight here, down this little lane, which is really narrow. And then onto Mort Street. There's the school on the right. Onto Burke Street. And this is quite a good run. Waiting to cross Cleveland. There we go. And St Jude's, 6:38. So that's pretty bad. Well down on our list for 5F, but people will use it. So looking at the table here, the 2 winners, Route 5A1, which is the Devonshire Street, and Route 5C are the winners, and also the 2 most dangerous, exactly the same as Crown Street. So the quickest times are definitely the most dangerous routes. Okay, that's it for our tests. Please keep in mind, 1, these obviously aren't rat runs yet, because the no right turns are still allowed on Crown and Burke for now. So they're going to be much worse once people are having to squirrel through the back of the Redfern and Surrey Hills. Secondly, the Toga Surrey Hills development has not been factored in. So you've got to think what the impact of 8 to 11,000 cars a day between 7 in the morning and 10 at night is going to do to the northern end of Baptist Street, but not just that, Baronia Street, Baronia Lane, Talopia, Phillip, all the areas south of Cleveland Street are going to be gridlocked. There's no doubt. And the no right turns will just make it much worse. All right, thanks for listening. The best way to get in touch with us is through our Facebook page. We've got a group called Cleveland Street Action Group, if you search for that. And we can give you the documents we refer to in this video and the other videos we're going to do. So please get involved. Thanks again.